Hey guys, I just wanted to do a quick video because we've got some interesting things happening in for X-Wing at the moment. Um, One thing is this morning we got a new points update. This is beta points version 4, which is pretty cool. I'm very excited for it. That's actually not the right thing. It's just the notes. I actually want to see the ship document. But yeah, we got the beta points version 4. I'm pretty sure upgrade points didn't change, but ship points definitely did change. And we've also got some not release, but teased SL loadouts for some of our underappreciated factions, you can say, in Scum, FO, and Resistance. So let's just start off with these SLs, and we can do it in the order that they've been released in. Um, First SL that we've been shown is Kylo Ren. Don't worry about the art. I found it online and I've just done it up because I wanted to print it out and make it look nice for some play testing. So I've played every SL once so far. Kylo, I think, is my absolute favorite out of all of them. Um, Play wise, he's my favorite out of all of them just because it was very easy for me to play him. But this is Kylo in the silencer from Evacuation of Dakar. Um, I believe that's episode 8 when they're leaving that planet after the Resistance are leaving the planet. I think it's on all the bombers as well. Might be episode 9. That's 8. I'm not too sure. One of them. No, it's 8. Definitely 8. So basically, this Kylo Ren's pretty cool in the silencer. So he's got a very nifty, um, what's it called? Stat block. 3 attack, 3 agility, 4 hull, 2 shield. Beefed up X-Wing basically. And this Kylo Ren actually has 3 force instead of 2. Um, I got to say that is one of the main things that made him extremely good for me to use. When I play tested him, I never ran out of force at all, and I know that Silencer Kylo with only 2 customizable Silencer Kylo was having a little bit of trouble with his force management. But this Kylo has the ability of the High Whisper Kylo, which is before an enemy ship in your bullseye is dealt a face down damage card. You can spend 1 force. If you do, that damage card is dealt face up instead. Great ability. It pairs in well with Malice, I do believe. I'm not too sure myself, but I'm pretty sure it does. It's also just cool because you can also trigger that off of other people because it's just if an enemy ship in your bullseye would be dealt a face down damage card. This Gale has the auto thrusters ability, which is cool. I would have been a little bit annoyed if it had sensitive controls. Like some of the other standard loadouts in Empire. Most of those interceptors had sensitive controls, and I feel like AMG were trying to push the use of it, even though not many people did use it or had it to use it in a specific circumstance. But auto thrusters is great. After you perform an action, you can perform a barrel roll or boost, which is red. So that gives you access to double repositioning with the barrel and boost on his action bar. Focus boost, focus barrel roll, lock boost, one of the two. Doesn't matter. Don't have to use it. You can use it. It's great. Very good. We've got a new upgrade on Kylo. This is called Determination. While you perform a primary attack, if the defender is in your bullseye, you may suffer 1 hit to add 1 focus result. I love this. I genuinely love this upgrade. I think it's pretty similar to your SL Defenders from AMG with their GIS engineering chassis, I think it was called, where they can spend a shield to apply range 1 bonus, but this one's way better because you can do it at range 1. So he can get a nice 4 die out of focus result, 5 dice shot basically. He is taking a damage, but realistically, if you want to play Kylo, you probably need to play him a little bit stingy, make sure he's not going into the fight, and he's kind of skirting on the outside, relying on the proton torpedoes that he also has. So it's really good for that, like stay back at like range with your proton torps and your force, and try and stay alive, deal some quick damage, and then pounce in if you have an opportunity. Bullseye determination, massive dice shot, really fun. I think that I love this upgrade. I ended up using I've played a game with Kylo and a game against Kylo. In the game against Kylo, my opponent used it when Kylo was almost dead, so he went down from 3 hull to 2 hull remaining, and then literally lucky shot killed Kylo. So it's one of those things where you have to think about it, and there's only a certain situation where you would use it, maybe a game-winning shot, maybe somewhere where you're not getting shot back, maybe somewhere where you have full hull and shield, where it doesn't, where one hits maybe like, no, not the worst. Um, yeah, it's a cool upgrade. I love it. I think it's amazing. I think that upgrade should be on, should be on some more pilots. Like I think it'd be busted to have it on multiple pilots, but it's a cool upgrade. I love it. Um, Next he has Malice, which is a really good ability. Really good upgrade to have with his 3 force. Pardon me. While you perform an attack, you may spend 1 force to change one focus or hit result to a crit result. If you do, after you perform the attack, if the defender was dealt one or more face-up pilot or crew damage cards, I'm not too sure what the crew ones are. I think that's for epic. Sorry, side note. Recover 2 force. So I'm pretty sure this ties in with his ability because it just says um if you do, after you perform the attack, if the defender was dealt one or more, recover 2. So basically, the way you could do it is as long as you malice one result, if Kylo had his ability open for his bullseye, if your opponent's in your bullseye, and let's just say you had 2 hits and a crit going through, both of those hits are on the hull, you could potentially spend 2 force to flip both those crits face up. You could even like spend a force to flip the first crit face up. If it's a crew, recover. Oh, that's after the attack. So yeah, so flip both of them face up, and if you get any crew, you get 2 force back. So I think it's really good having Malice with his pilot ability. That may be wrong. I'm pretty sure the way it's worded makes them interact together. I'm pretty sure people were doing that with Silencer, not the Silencer, Whisper Kylo, with Malice. So I think that's cool. Um, but also perfectly ties in with his proton torpedoes. That also gets to change hit to crits. So yeah, he's also got proton torpedoes. Really good. Twice a game, 4 dice shot. Ignores range restriction. Sorry, ignores adding dice at range 3 because it's a munition. 4 dice as well. So you've got a super strong Kylo in the really good chassis in the silencer, able to double repo if he needs, able to lock then reposition, able to focus and reposition, able to add an extra focus result if he takes a damage, able to malice to get force back, able to shoot proton torpedoes for 4 dice. It's a very strong ship, and it is priced at 7 points, which I think is great. I definitely think this is a 7 point ship. The 6 point customizable Kylo at the moment, he has both of his forms are customizable. They did recently change his Whisper 6.1, so he's got a lot more loadout. But his silencer at 6 points, I believe, only has like 6 loadout or 7 loadout on him. So he's not the strongest, but having an option at 6 points with minimal loadout and then having an option at 7 points with this kind of loadout, like Proton Torpedoes 14, Malice is, I think, 4 or 5. Determination would probably be like a 6 point upgrade. And then also having an extra force, all of that for one extra squad point, I think that's beautiful. It makes a lot of sense from a list building perspective to have multiple options of the same pilot and have benefits to each one at a different price. Um, but yeah, Kylo, 7 points, beautiful. I love it. I think it's a great direction for FO to go. And I love the 3 force. That's the main thing. When I did play him, um, I played him a little bit stingy against my opponent who had a scum list where he was jousting me. This was at my local, and I played a little bit stingy. I had Kylo with then Breach for 4 points, which is Plasma Torpedo Initiative 5. I then had 2 bombers, Scorch and Joel Gerard, with cluster. One of them had ion missile feedback ping, and the other one had cluster missile feedback ping. And then my last ship was Agent Terex in the Xi shuttle. Actually, I might have the list on my thing. I can probably bring it up. Then I had Agent Terex in the Xi shuttle with he had not that one. He had the I'm forgetting the word. Uh, I don't have it here. I'll pull up Tarex and show you the upgrade. It's the one with the little sensor boys, sensor boy suit or whatever it's called. Sensor boy suite, yeah. So he had those, so you can place 2 sensors, boy remotes, keyword remotes, beyond range 2 of any board edge. You're able to chuck them on top of rocks. Before you engage, you can acquire a lock on an enemy ship at range 0 to 1 of a friendly sensor boy, or any ship, actually. That actually could work with Biohexacrit and coordinating. But I had that as well as these two bombers. Well, all three of my bombers had feedback ping, which is really cool. So the person who I versed to played Kylo had a similar build, but feedback ping is great. After an enemy ship's execute, sorry, voice. After an enemy ship executes a maneuver, if it is at range 0 to 1 of a friendly device, you may acquire a lock on that ship, ignoring range restrictions. So a remote counts as a device. So basically, put two sensor boys on top of rocks. These things have 3 agility. As long as they're getting shot through the rock, they have 4 agility. If it's ranged, they have 5 agility. And only 2 hull. But the 4 dice or 5 dice is really strong. Just have them sitting on rocks. If your opponent wants to shoot them to try and kill them, they can, might not. If they land anywhere at range 0 to 1 of them, take a free lock on every single one of my bombers, which I have 3 of, one of them with plasmas. It was a very fun list, and I gotta say, it did screw Scum up a lot with my opponent's jousting list. And Kylo, honestly, like, I had him fly into the jousting list, but be stingy around a rock. So that way he wasn't the best shot because of where he positioned himself. All of my opponent's ships but one had an obstructed shot at range 3, whereas I had an obstructed torp at one of his ships. So a 1 agility ship. So it was a really good way to play him. And then next turn, shot straight out of there and actually bumped something and took a range 0, which did some damage. But yeah, shot out of there, turned back around, started shooting, and got the killing shot with determination. Honestly, I used determination for the killing shot that won the game. And that's how you should be using determination. I think a very fun ship, amazing. I definitely love this SL Kylo. I can't wait to see how he's used in the meta with different lists. You are kind of limited to that 13 points where in FO you have no 2-pointers, so it's got to be a 4-3-3-3. Yeah, or you go 4-5-4, 5-5-3. Like, there's a couple of options, but I think having 5 ships is still the way to go in most lists, and bombers are great for 3 points. But going on to the next ship, this one I actually had a lot of fun with as well. Next one, this isn't, yeah, Poe Dameron was the next one teased. So Poe Dameron for evacuation of Dakar, sorry. So this Poe is Overdrive Poe. In the movie, he had his beefed up overdrive X-wing, and he basically slammed around a FO Star Destroyer, whatever it was, blasting off the cannon so then the bombers could come in. Very cool scene, and he's basically around that. So this Poe has same stat block as 7-point Poe. And says after you perform an attack, you may spend 1 energy to perform a white action, treating it as after you perform an action, spend an energy to perform a white action, treating it as red, which is cool. Double action Poe. If you do have a quick look at his action bar, he has a focus into barrel roll. As a resistance X-wing, they don't natively have barrel roll on their action bar. This one does, and similarly, he does have the adaptive S foil. So these adaptive S foils is just their way of getting around not having a flippable S foil card on a standard loadout. So the way it works is after you perform a barrel action, gain a deplete token. While you perform an attack before rolling attack die, if the defender is in your bullseye, you may remove 1 deplete token. So same thing on your S foils for T70s is why you perform an attack, why you perform a primary attack if the defender is in your not in your bullseye, roll 1 less attack die. So exact same thing. If they're in your bullseye before rolling a dice, you can just remove your deplete. So if any time he performs a barrel action, he has to get that deplete. So he is very similar to your 7-point Poe. If you don't have munitions and want to do a primary attack, you need that bullseye. It's still good. You've got some decent upgrades coming up. So of course, Poe Dameron has to have heroic because he's a resistance, the resistance ship. So heroic, if you roll, you have 2 or more results, and all the results are blank. You can re-roll your dice. Very cool. Great for attack, defense, everything. Next is primed overdrive thrusters. This is very similar to overdrive thrusters that you can equip on the X-Wings for 5 points. This one, however, has a secondary effect at the end. So while you perform a red boost, barrel roll, or slam action, you must use a template 1 speed higher if able. If you do, you may gain 1 strain token to remove 1 stress token. So remove 1 strain to get remove 1 stress to gain 1 strain. So let's look at his action bar. Focus into red barrel roll. So natively he has a linked action. So first action, focus. Second action, link it into a red barrel roll. It's a red barrel roll. You must use a template 1 speed higher. Has to be a 2 out the side, forward, backward, middle. Now, after you do that, you now have the option to do, if you do, you may gain 1 strain token to remove 1 stress token. So straight away, oh, cool. If I'm in a good spot, let's take a strain instead of a stress. I can still use my pilot ability because I'm not stressed anymore. After you perform an action, you can spend 1 energy to perform a white action, treating it as red. So now you could either, you've already focused and barrel rolled. You have options to a lock, slam, or boost. So most of the time, you want to try and get out of arcs. So you could do a boost action if you want to boost. Oh no, it's red. You must use a template 1 speed higher if able. If you do, you may gain a strain token to remove 1 stress token. So there is a world where you play Poe, you focus, you barrel roll, gain a deplete, then you 2 boost. So 2 barrel roll, then 2 boost in, and then line up a bullseye outside of everyone's arcs and say, you know what, I'm going to have 2 strain tokens, no stress tokens. Let's just see what happens. It's such a cool upgrade. This primed overdrive thrusters. When I first looked at this card, I didn't like it. And then after I reread primed overdrive thrusters, I'm like, holy cow, that's actually insane. Like that secondary line, you may gain 1 strain token to remove a stress. So it opens up so much for him. For one, he could do 3 actions, like I've said. He could then end his turn not stressed. So then in the system phase next turn, he has BB-8, which is you can spend a charge to perform a boost or barrel action. So obviously if you're stressed, you can't do that. So you can end the turn on a strain, not be stressed for the next turn. Even after doing 3 actions, you could be double strain, still not be stressed for next turn, end up boosting or barrel rolling before you move in the systems phase. Amazing. Um, Such a nifty upgrade. So next, let's just keep going. BB-8, during the systems phase, you may spend 1 energy to perform a barrel or boost action. He has 2 energy. Before you engage, this one's really important, the secondary effect. This is new, not on the other BB-8. Before you engage, you may spend 1 energy and gain a strain token. If you do, you may remove 1 disarm token. So, that links into black 1 in your slamming. I didn't say it earlier, but it does have a slam action. Overdrive thrusters work for slam. Blah, blah, blah. But he does have that's how you get rid of your weapons disabled from your slamming. So previously, black 1 had gain an ion to remove a disarm token, I think it was. But this new black 1 says after he has 2 charges on black 1 now. After you perform a slam action, lose 1 energy. If all your energy are inactive, you cannot perform the slam action. So twice a game slam. He has 2 BB-8 charges, so potentially twice a game you're removing the disarm. Otherwise, potentially twice a game, you're barrel rolling or boosting in the systems phase. Potentially, you're doing a barrel boost in systems phase. Then you could even use your pull ability to then link off of that and do, I don't know, uh, you could white boost into a red barrel roll 2 out because it's overdrive thrusters into taking a strain, and then you're doing a 2 hard in. So now all of a sudden you're going here, here, here. Like, how do you even explain that with paint? This is so. I should have gotten TTS up, but basically, you're going from here. You can do a boost in the systems phase. Sorry, let's go bank boost in the systems phase into a 2 barrel out the side into a base and a half. You're basically landing it there with your arc facing that way. Um, from yeah, so you're moving like that. which is extremely cool. Like that is like that movement there, and that's just system says you're doing that into that. So as long as that spot there, as long as those two spots are free, you have that just straight up your belt. And then next turn, then you're two harding in. You could even three hard at a slam, so you can come all the way back down here. Like, pardon me, the movement on Poe is insane. Like the options you have up your sleeve are insane. And don't forget, guys, he is still an X-wing, so he does still have um three dice, two agility, so and four hull, three shield. So he is killable, definitely. Especially with all his abilities giving him strains. If he's caught in a bad spot, he can definitely be killed. But gosh, can he move if he wants to? Like, um, in the game, I ended up playing against my opponent. He offered me a GS. This is again against Scum. He offered me a GS on one side of the board. I'd set up a 3-pointer here and a coordinating pod. I had a 3-point A-wing and a coordinating pod here. And I decided, hey, you know what? He's giving me a joust. I've got ZZ with proton rockets. I've got Zori, the wiring of plasma torpedoes, and I've got Poe. I'm like, cool. I think I can take a joust. So ZZ, Zori, Poe ended up starting like this at the very bottom, like that. And then, of course, one straight. These guys came up fast, fast again. So they're about here in this engagement. He's kind of down here doing nothing. You kind of come up there. So that's where my guys were. My opponent had basically come up here, and he had a nice medium base sitting about here. So Poe ended up doing a three straight with his movement on that turn. So his initiative 6, he did three straight. He took a focus, overdrive the barrel roll this way, so he's got the bullseye on the medium base. Then he decided to take a strain, so he's now strained, whatever the strain token looks like. Yeah, he's strained, which is and focused. Oh, that's horrible. Green. He's strained, focus, and then he uses his ability to take a stress, and then he ends up um, taking a lock. So yeah, multiple actions. But yeah, so Poe did three actions: stress, strain, lock, focus. Like he ended up, I was versing my opponent was testing Mandalorian. Then we had a Lima Kai who had no lock with her plasmas, no bullseye on Mandalorian because I barreled Poe out. Um, yeah, it was a beautiful turn, and I took a bunch of shots and ended up taking three shields and a crit because I rolled one evade, which was my first roll with the strained attack, and I'm rolling one evade that whole time. But honestly, like it was really cool. Um, and next turn was really the hard decisioning where do I go? Like, what's my opponent going to do? I'm kind of trapped in that. I'm kind of trapped in that spot there. What should I be doing there? And ended up being I went for a. What happened was he three three banked. So he basically three banked like this. I ended up turning Zori in here. He three bank slammed Mando into the resistance pod who was facing him. Then Lima ended up doing a 4K, which landed her in that spot, facing back that way. This is getting really confusing because of stuff. And then Zuckus, who I didn't actually kill, ended up doing that. So Zori was right in front of me. Poe did a two bank this way, blue. Bumped. So enemy overlapped onto Zuckus, but bumped into the back of Lima. So Poe had zero shots on him that turn, and it ended up rolling four crits naturally. But yeah, like after that, I got the kill. Like his forces were split around. Poe just decided to let's get rid of some of this mess. Where's Poe? Yeah, Poe was basically here. Poe ended up he ended up one banking here. Then he barrel rolled. He focused barrel rolled out two, and then he boosted up two. So landed back over here. Stress, strain, focus, no shots on him. took a he ended up bumping that slam, so he ended up taking a range 0 on Mandalorian, who was out this way shooting that way. So yeah, like really cool. Get in there, deal some damage, run away. Obviously my opponent spent all his shots shooting at Poe, and that's never gonna work if I get just run away. So very, very cool. Very cool ship. Absolutely loved it. Um, I gotta say, I didn't fly him to his full effect. I flew him basic. I went, okay, cool. Get in, get some shots, run, probably get some more shots flanking. And that ended up working really well. Um, to be fair, I kind of called some of my opponent's moves, which was really helpful. Some of his ships just decided to leave him aside to 4K. He had a hawk and a coordinator who wasn't really into the fight until the next turn after that. And at that point they had no shot on Poe. So yeah, Poe was fun. Poe was really fun. I haven't seen any other games of Poe. I haven't played any others, but that was really cool. That was a really fun game. I think this Poe's also 6 points. I don't know if I said that. Poe's 6 points. So now we have Commander Poe at 5 points with, I think he has 7 loadout, where he has to spend 2 charges to give anyone an action after they fully execute a maneuver or something, or after they perform an action. So that one's cool at 5 points with minimal loadout. Then at 6 points, you have an Overdrive Poe. No munitions, so relies a lot on actually flying him correctly, with a lot of downsides with restraints and that deplete for his barrel rolls. And then for 7 points, you have customizable Poe with like 24 loadout or whatever it is, who can take munitions to help with the downside of his fleet token from his barrel rolls. He can take overdraft thrusters. He can take astromechs, anyone he wants, like R4, even M9G8 if he really wanted it. Like, could take afterburners. There's so many options you could check on Poe, customizable. So again, like I said earlier, XWA doing a great job at giving us multiple options of the same key pieces that we can choose from at different point balances. We have a 2 6-point Kylos in different chassis, and then a 7-point silencer. We've got Poe at 5, 6, and 7. Each of them with different usefulness and different ways to modify them, and obviously this one as it is. Really loving it. Really loving the stuff they tease so far. If they keep giving us stuff like that, I'm gonna love it. Like, these standard loadouts are beautiful. The slight changes they made to each of these cards to make sure it's balanced, like instead of just giving black one, oh, take a strain to remove the disarm and giving it to BB8, makes you think about the resources you have up your sleeves and how you want to use them. Getting the depletes and being able to remove it, ingenious way of working around the S foils. Um, of course, having heroic on Poe, who literally was heroic because he went out on his in the movie he went out on his own to fight a Star Destroyer, so he could start a bombing run. Amazing, like very thematic, very cool. I absolutely love it. And then gave it away earlier, but finally, last pilot spoiled is the Mandalorian in the Royal Naboo N1 Starfighter. So this Mandalorian is kind of cool. He is still Initiative 5. Um, Also another thing, the set he is in is called Most Wanted. So that kind of gives a clue at what the XWA are thinking of bringing into the game. Most Wanted pilots, probably for Scum, all the bounty hunters, Cad Bane, Zuckuss, Forlom, IG-88, Mando, Boba Fett, so many you can name off just because everything's kind of Most Wanted in Scum. But yeah, so Naboo Royal N1, exact same stat line as the Naboo. 2 attack die, 2 agility, 3 hold, 2 shield. I looked at that. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, Mando kind of needs bigger guns. Mando is very evasive. What they do with it? He also has 2 force from the char, but we'll get to that. So Um, Mandalorian has the same ability as his Razor Crest, which doesn't fit with the design of the chassis and the abilities he has, and I can explain that in a little bit. This Mandalorian is also 4 points. Really cool, 4 points. But yeah, so while you defend and perform an attack, if you are in the front arc at range 1 to 2 of 2 or more enemy ships, you may change one of your blank results to an eyeball result. So basically, two people are looking at me in the front. I can make a blank an eye. Helps with the force that he has, the two force he has to use. And then his ship ability, instead of having full throttle like the N1s normally do for the executor speed 3 to 5 evade action, he has restored speedster. While you are disarmed, you may perform primary attacks against enemy objects in your bullseye. So, kind of gives away his action bar. He's got a slam. Um, Basically, if you slam and line up a bullseye, you can still shoot, which is great. He's also initiative 5. He has a lot of opportunity to slam into that bullseye. He also has slam into target lock, so he's getting a nice modded shot if he can land it. Does stress him, but the Naboo dial is pretty cool. Let's go get that up real quick. Was it Naboo? There you go. 3 bank, 2 bank, 2 straight, 3 straight. So he has to go faster to clear his blues, but it's still a decent dial to have. Like, he has no blue hard maneuvers, but he has access to slam, so he could like 2 bank into a 2 hard, 3 bank into a 3 hard, all that sort of stuff. Um, but yes, so he has focus, target lock, barrel roll, boost, slam into red target lock. First upgrade on him, outmaneuver. Perfectly outlines how you should be flying him. While you perform a forward arc attack, if you are not in the defender's firing arc, the defender rolls 1 fewer defense die. So I was thinking when they were going to release Mandalorian, they might do a kind of like the Ada Actis, Ada Republic ships where they had 3 bullseye and 2 forward arc. Um, but that wouldn't have worked with Mandalorian because he has outmaneuver. So they have actually calibrated laser targeting, and we're just going to skip down to the bottom because this is actually really cool. Calibrated laser targeting, exact same as most of your Jedi in the Delta 7s. Where you perform a primary attack if the defender is in your bullseye, add a focus result. Perfect. So straight away, if he's got his bullseye, he can have 2 dice plus your focus, 3 dice at range 1 plus your straight focus. He has force straight away. He has a ability where he can shoot enemy ships in his bullseye if he is weapons disabled. He has slam into red target lock. So he can be move, slam, bullseye, red target lock, 3 dice. If it's range 1, 3 dice, add a focus result, spend your lock, have up to 2 force to modify. That is a very powerful 4 die shot at range 1. And you have slam, so you're probably out of most arcs. You potentially have outmaneuver if you're facing the side of the ship, so they're having 1 less defense die. Very, very cool ship. I think it's really cool. And you kind of look at that and you're like, oh, it's a 4-point ship that can do that at initiative 5, really? Yeah, we'll get to that in a sec. But yeah, next upgrade, let's go back up to the top. We got the child. Um, so when they did reveal this card, they did say they wanted to call the child Grogu because at this point in the movie, he knew Grogu's name. Only problem with that is there is another card in the game called the child that has the 1 pip. And because it is a unique card and they technically both are the same thing, if they don't leave this card here saying the child and they put Grogu, there is opportunity for people to put the child on something. Sorry, to put the child on some other ship in the list, maybe Han Solo, and then take Mandalorian with Grogu and have 2 ships with exactly the same upgrade but different names. So have to keep it the child, just for namesake, just has to. So this child is actually very interesting. It's got the same effect after you defend if you suffer damage during the attack, recover 1 force. That is because he has non-regenerative force, exactly like the child. But there is nothing to say assign the merciless pursuit condition to two of the defenders. So in case you do not know and you've been living under a rock, the merciless pursuit condition. Let's just get a crew. Where's a child? Right here. um, Merciless pursuit. After you perform, after placing forces, choose an opponent. Choose an opponent. They assign the merciless pursuit condition to their ships. After the merciless pursuit condition, whenever one of those 2 ships attack Mando, if he's equipped with the child, they can acquire a lock for free. So because this because this child does not say assign the merciless pursuit. You don't have to. So he's getting the child, but not having the downside that it used to have. The big downside of if you shoot me, you get a free lock afterwards. So very cool, absolutely beautiful. And then again, he has an upgrade that helps him with locks. He has a new scum upgrade called Kineso Switch. 2 charges. After you perform a slam action, if you fully executed the maneuver, you may spend 1 energy to break all locks assigned to you. Amazing. I think that's so cool. Like, just the idea of like having like, let's just say Mando got into a weird spot where everyone on your opponent, like, okay, let's just say, let's put it like this: imagine your opponent used a thread tracer in their last turn, and every single one of their ships had a lock on you in like a 6 ship list. Next turn, Mando 3 straights, 3 hard slams. He's out of everyone's arc, or maybe in some arcs, and he can just say, "Oh, I'm gonna Kineso switch. No locks on all. No locks on me." Amazing. I think it's such a fun upgrade. I think that's really cool, and I think that's an upgrade they probably should. I don't know how they you can't really bring it into a game because not many ships can slam that have an illicit slot unless they're taking whatever that scum upgrade is called. I forgot. Yasby. It's a upgrade. I think it's called. I'm trying to remember. Give me a second. I know one of these guys can take it. Where is it? What's it called? Burnout thrusters. It can give a small ship a once a game slam, small medium ship. So like it would be a cool upgrade to have in the game, but then again, in Scum, potentially you have one ship able to take it if they also take burnout thrusters. I guess Resistance has access to slamming ships that can take illicit slots, which is your fireballs. Otherwise, there's not many ships that can slam and take illicit. So it'd be a really interesting upgrade to have in the game, but like it works on Mando. That's about it. Yep. Cool. So I've played against Mando once. I've played with Mando once. I think the problem with the Mandalorian is he's very squishy. He's got 2 agility and only 5 HP in total. Um, he's also got 2 force that only come back if he gets shot. And if you're flying him as a flanker, which you probably should be with the slamming out maneuver stuff, you're never getting his ability active. Um, if you're flying him as a flanker, if you slam, you can only lock. So there goes. If your force is gone, that's all your defensive mods. You have no defensive mods. Only have the lock, which technically is still a luck based modifier, unlike a focus. Um, you have to line up a bullseye, and if you want to line up a bullseye without performing a slam, you have a barrel or a boost, but same way you don't have a modification if you do that, because again, no linked actions except for the slam into lock. So when I played him, when I played against him, I just didn't shoot at Mandalorian. I only shot at him once at a range 0 shot because I might as well take it. And when I did, I got both his shields off from that range 0, which my opponent got one of his 2 force back, which he had already spent 2. So, like, the only reason he got mods back on his Mandalorian is because I decided to shoot him, where I probably could have just said no, but I was ahead of the game, so it was like, why not? But there definitely is a thought to say, if you're versing Mando, don't shoot him. If he loses the child, if he loses his force and isn't shot, he's never getting that force back. It's just the same thought I have about the problem with the Mandalorian and the Razor Crest with the child crew, is that if he isn't shot, he's not getting the child anymore, and that means he's losing the best mod power he has, and that loses the like it loses the your pilot ability for one modification if you don't have a focus. Um, yeah, it's a little bit tricky. And then when I played Mando, I was flying him in a probably not the best list. I'll build it. Oh my gosh. I just removed the page because of the button I pressed to unpause. Give me a sec. Okay, I think we're back. It reloaded itself. I was flying something similar to this. Well, I was basically flying this. I had Fenrir with Predator. I had Talonbane with Fearless. I had Zuckus with Fearless, Cura, and Angle Deflectors for Reinforce. Then I had Sarko Plank with Gleb and some other upgrades. So, 3-point Coordinator, 4-point potentially big damage at range 1, 4-point potentially big damage at range 1, 5-point potentially big damage at range 1, and Mandalorian as a flanker. And I was versing a Boba Fett, Dirge, Cad Bane, and Lima Kylis. Actually, it was one of the lists I've made myself. I just gave it to my opponent because he had nothing else. He only brought stuff to play Mando, and we only had one Mando, so it was fine. But yeah, so um, the problem with this game is that I got lucky. Um, for one, we had a little bit of a weird asteroid placement, like this, basically. It was basically like that. Um, he won initiative, so he placed his fives before me. So I chucked Zuckus here because I knew Zuckus could get through the rocks and had like a travel path through if he needed. Then I chucked Sarko here. So Sarko could decide because Sarko had Protector Gleb to coordinate. Then my opponent decided to chuck Lee Mackay, sorry, Cad Bane in the center. Uh, Dirge here directly opposite Talon, and then Lee Mackay. And then he chucked Boba Fett in this corner here. B for Boba. But yeah, so at that point, I had Mando, Talonbane, and Fen to play. So I'm like, okay, cool. You've given me a jousting lane. Talonbane can go with Zuckus. Fen can go with Zuckus. Fen was actually all the way in the corner here. Let's just redraw that. But yeah, so basically, I had my team like that. He had his team like that. FFN, uh, Z, T, S, and then Mando started at an angle in the corner like this. So, um, for starters, a lot of tight initiatives. The Mandalorian needs that space at initiative 5 to move where he needs and know where his opponents are. And a Boba Fett is the perfect counter to Mandalorian because Boba Fett has front rear arcs. If he gets to range 1 of Mando, he's got rerolls. He has 3 dice at the front and back. He has a native reroll of the Andrastra mod we had on him, the Andrastra title. So in this situation, if you lose road, Mando has a very hard time getting anything off. So turn 1, go fast. I did that, I did that, I did that, and then I ended up boosting Fen. So Fen's sitting about here, just out of range 3. He ended up slow playing, so he's about here. And I think Dirge was about there, and then Cat ended up turning and then boosting and then turning in. So Cat's about there. Boba Fett did the 4 with the boost there, and he got that perfect sweet spot where he had the 1 bank to fit there, and also the 3 banks to come all the way through. So yeah, Boba Fett's basically like that ish. Sort of a little bit back, yeah. Basically that. And I had 3 banked Mando and only 1 boosted him. So for starters, Mando was just like literally the tiniest bit in for that shot. Range 3 obstructed, fully blanks out for Mando. Blanks out with 1 focus against Boba's 2 dice. Of course, Mando didn't have the arc either, so he had no shot. But Boba Fett, of course, had the shot. Like that way, just had the corner. So for starters, Mando either takes 2 shields. Boba had 1 dice, 1 hit. Mando rolled everything 4 blanks, 3 blanks in a focus. No mods for me. I had to spend a force, otherwise I'm taking a damage for no reason. So straight away, turn 1, he moved first. So I moved first, so he knew exactly where I was before he made his decisions. I had no idea. That's why I only boosted Mando. Mando loses a force. So 1 force on Mando. That's a horrible spot to be. That's 1 resource down where if I don't get damage, I'm not getting that back. Next turn, I win road. Of course, my guys just move slow. He comes up. He's right there. Sako comes in behind like that. Beautiful. Fen, he comes forward a bit. Lima's managed to get Torp off. Dirge has the proton cannon range 2. Fen goes for the 3 straight barrel roll into this spot here. Cadbane 1 and 1, so Cadbane's about there. Yeah. Sorry, Cadbane just won and stayed there. Sorry. So, yeah. So it wasn't just one banked and stayed there. Just missed Dirge. So yeah, that round Zuckus got smashed with damage. Sorry, Boba Fett. I had to call the bluff. So Mando only went for a 2 straight and just said, okay, only got a 2 straight. My arcs basically, I'm at more of an angle like that. My arcs like that basically. Boba Fett ended up also saw what Mando did. So Mando 2 straight took a focus. Boba decided to 1 bank and he was just out of arc and he just sat there, didn't boost or anything. I was like, cool. You could have boosted in, gotten 2 shots off with no rerolls, but I mean, that's the way you should be playing Boba. But yeah, no shot for Boba, no shot for Mando. Mando still forced down. Bunch of damage up here. I ended up almost killing Dirge. He's got 3 hull left. Um, and then he basically kills Zuckus with 3 hull left as well. Next turns, Fen was like more like this in front of Zuckus, so Zuckus 2 straights bumps into the back of Fen. Zuckus is about there. This is getting really confusing. I should be using different colors for different turns, but let's say this is this turn. Does that. Um, Fen ends up doing the it was actually the 1 hard I did. I did the 1 hard, which landed me about here. There's a little bit. It's hard to explain because basically I was perfectly in line bullseye onto Cadbane there. So Fen landed here. So Fen, Cad, Dirge went for the massive 5k. Landed here behind Zuckus, and then Lima went for the 4k. Landed there. Sako went for the 1 hard. So Sako ended up having a, I don't know exactly where the positioning was, but he had a range 1 shot onto Dirge. Sako was coordinating actions. Talonbane ended up doing a 2 straight into the front of Cad Bane. And then Boba did the 4 straight, obviously. And guess who moved first again? Mandalorian, who only 2 straighted because there's literally nothing to do. He can't risk going faster. He can't risk going slower. He can't land a bullseye. There's no point slamming there. Otherwise, you're taking a range 1 shot from a multiple um, dice Boba Fett, and I can't really take the gamble that I can 3 straight boost slam and 3 straight slam, 3 bank and try and line up a bullseye because I'm moving first before my opponent has moved. So I have no idea what half his list is doing. So again, Mando screwed. But yeah, it basically was a massive bloodbath. Like everything just got like really screwed up. I made some really cool plays and it ended up being like a 16 to 15. Me ahead by 1 with 3 ships left against Boba Fett. Yeah, it was a bloodbath game. Like it was insane. But Mandalorian didn't perform in that game. The game before, Mando kind of performed. My opponent used some alright and got a massive shot off on my an outmaneuver, slammed, locked bullseye shot onto my resistance transport pod. But in my game, Mando didn't perform because solely of the initiative tie. And that's a problem because it's a problem, but it's also not. It's the reason why he can be priced at 4 points. That's what I've been trying to explain. Sorry, that's really confusing. If you're watching this back, I've almost been talking for 50 minutes. Really confusing. But basically, what I'm trying to explain is that because of how squishy he is, because of the lack of recovering force resources, because of the limitation of his actions, no real linked actions, because his pilot ability only works if he's actually getting shot at by multiple targets, because he has to line up a bullseye if he wants to slam, or line up a bullseye if he wants to do major damage, because he's got outmaneuver and should be used as a flanker. All those things kind of compile and make him a very squishy 4 point flanker where once you use your resources, you have to be lining up shots perfectly after you maneuver and not worry about repositioning. And that's a little bit hard, and that is the reason why he's priced at 4 points. It's why something like a really fast chassis like this, with slam, with force, with a bullseye extra result, and outmaneuver is worth 4 points, because he is very squishy and he can just die. That's a problem. But yeah, like everyone's kind of like, all I've seen so far is praising Mandalorian, saying, "Oh, he's such a fun pilot. He's so cool." I've played one game and played against him one game, and he just got dumpstered on, or just didn't do anything. Got in, took a shot, ran, and then didn't get any other shots because he's trying to slam back into the fight and not lining up bullseyes. So he is definitely worth 4 points. Yeah, he's definitely worth 4 points. I reckon in the right hands of someone who's played him for a long time, perfectly knows how to bait the maneuvers out, knows how to line up, would be able to utilize them amazingly. But at this point, when no one's really played with a slamming Naboo chassis that doesn't get free evades, or doesn't even have an evade action as well, which is also kind of annoying. No evade action. Um, yeah, he's killable. Definitely killable. If you verse him, kill him. Just go for him straight away. Don't just yeah. Just make sure you have one ship dedicated to shoot at him and kill him. Munition spam him at range 3. That's how you deal with him. But yeah, as I said, 50 minutes into this video, and I still haven't gotten to the points update. Anyway, that is my opinion on the new standard loadouts that have been previewed so far. I really am liking the direction XWA is taking them. I really do like their upgrades. I like the unique upgrades they have put on them so far is really cool. As I said with Poe, the slight changes to each of the different upgrades he does have from what they normally are give it that extra like work together, actually think about what you're doing and manage your resources. Don't be overstrained, don't be depleted without a bullseye. It actually makes you think, and like I said with Mando, in the right hands, they both could be menaces. Same with Kylo. In the right hands, all three of those SL cards could be absolute menaces in the game, no matter like even at Kylo's 7 point slot, Post 6 point slot, and Mando's squishy 4 point slot. Yeah, cool. Okay. Points beta version 4. Couple of changes. Patch notes. Let's just do it in general. General change to that will affect various faction. That will affect every faction is force users with talent slots are losing talent and getting force slots. I personally do not like this change, and I'll explain it more when we get into it. But what they are saying is this is done mainly to come back the use of certain combos like trick shot, shattering shot. Sorry, I've never seen someone use that. Like, yeah, I get that would be a good thing, but that's a like, come on. Sorry, but unless you're having like a coordination, you're not. The chance of you actually lining that up is very low. And the main pieces being used so far don't have access to that anyway. Um, but I do see how it could be a problem. Um, or debris gambit with support with force support on high initiative 3 agility aces. I do like that though. Like, no offense, I do like that idea of having like you're losing options to take locks though that force users should be using. So I don't really mind the debris gambit force support. It used to be a dividing line many years ago, so we don't expect it to be a killer for any of these powerful force aces. Yep, you can hear Angry Republic players already, but worry not. The one exception of this is going to be the ATA 2 chassis. Those pilots who retain their talent slots, as it is an important and necessary part of their kit to make the ship efficient enough with how fragile it can end up being. Not too sure what they mean. I'm guessing they're talking about elusive or squad leader, or I'm not too sure. There could be a couple of things they could have. Enduring, maybe, but cool. Um, um, I don't think we really need to go into it too much. Maybe we can say Republic. we can kind of just explain. We'll go through these main points on everyone. So we'll ignore the small stuff, but we'll go through this talking thing. So, for Rebels Han Solo, we've noticed that the Rebel YT-1300s have not seen much play. In keeping with the theme of this update, we're going to try raising the cost of one. In this case, Han Solo to a whopping 9 squad points. I gotta say, I literally was like, holy crap, 9 points for Han. Increasing loadout to 25, which lets you have Perceptive Co-Pilot Bissan combo, so double tapping with double focus. And this will also enable Handbrake Han, which is I think it's inertial dampeners on Han. But as he says, it is almost 9 points of your list. Sorry, it is 9 points, which is basically half your list. Like, come on, like, I gotta be honest, like, this is updated here, so we can actually look at this. Like, I don't know who's taking Han at 9 points. Like, 9 points and 25 loadout is great, but to make a 9 point Han worth it, you must use Bistan or some type of double tapping. You can't not have a like a 9 point Han limits you to a very weak 3 ship list with one support or just a 3 ship list in general. Like I've seen some Han Wedge Luke lists, but like some of the ideas of that, but like this is kind of just sad. Like you look at it and you can check Perceptive Copilot, yes, you can check Bistan, and we all know this was super strong, but you still only have 5 points worth of loadout where, okay, cool. I guess I'm also getting Trick Shot, which potentially gives me 4 dice obstructed. Um pardon me. And I'm getting Chopper. I still don't think that's worth 9 points. Like Han is a little bit tanky with 13 hit points. He does have 1 agility. He does get to gamble with the rerolls, but unless you have really good luck, you like if you rolled average into average, like it doesn't really matter about the rerolls. You have to get lucky because you have to reroll all your dice. Like we saw the AMG meta of Perceptive Copilot Han being super busted, but that was because it was a 7 point ship that could double tap, double modded both times. Like in a 5 ship list with Luke, Theo, like Sabine, all those broken ass pieces. That's the only reason Han Perceptive Copilot was good is because of the other pieces you could chuck with him. Whereas at 9 points, you are extremely limited at what you can do with him. Like you have to fly a 443, a 542. I don't even know if Rebels has a 2 point. I think they have a TIE fighter. You could run a 965. Like there's a couple things you could fly, but like that's a massive. Like I personally don't think increasing Han to 9 points is worth it. With the amount of munitions that are still in the game, the amount of lists that can take munitions, I don't think it's I don't think it's the best upgrade decision. Um, I do like before he was 9, it was 7 loadout. So sorry, he was 7 with 7 loadout or something like that. 7 with 8 loadout, which was also crap. Like Han's ability is cool, but like unless you're getting some type of extra crew that you can play with, it's not the best. So I would have I would have probably sacrificed to 8 and 20 loadout. Um, I would have sacrificed to 8 and 20 loadout. Like then you're still getting Pacific Copilot Biston, but you're not getting any of the other fun stuff. And what they meant by Handbrake Han was inertial dampeners. Um, before you would execute a maneuver, you can spend 1 shield if you do execute a white 0 maneuver instead of a revealed maneuver and gain a stress token. So it's just basically spend a shield to sit still. Not, I honestly don't think that's worth it. Like, please prove me wrong, but I really don't think a 9 point harm is competitive. I think it might be fun with the amount of BS you could chuck on them, but I don't think that Bistan Perceptive Copilot trick shot combo is worth 9 points. And I don't think, like, unless he's actually able to pull that weight. If I see a Han on the board, I immediately will try and take it down. And yes, Han can boost, but he has to choose between, unless he's got a coordinator on the list, you have to choose between focusing or getting out of shots with boosts. Like, unless you've dialed in the perfect maneuver that your opponent would never expect, but you can, like, as the opponent to Han, you could always just set up that nice wide shots, just taking range 3 shots. It's only 2 agility Han. I don't like it. That's just my opinion. I honestly hate it. Next is gonna go down to Empire. Scythe 6 got the nerf he needed. Scythe 6 having 3 attack dice at range 2 as a TIE fighter with an extra hull with a bunch of stuff. Definitely glad he was removed. Their words is Empire's getting several buffs, but they temper it with the nerf of Scythe 6, which was basically an auto take for a 3-point ship. Lots of complaints apparently through official routes and people screaming at us in Discord. They are listening. Moving Scythe 6 to 4 points instead of 3. Because the amount of rerolls he gets, the amount of extra attack dice, the amount of ways to shed stress, like just reading through that, like the way he can perform multiple actions, the way he can strain opponents, like it's a really good ship for 3 points and definitely should be worth 4 points. Like compare it with some of the other 3-point ships in Empire, and unless you do some insane balancing for internal faction, like piloting his pilot, like he'll never be fair at 3 points. Um, Uh, Decimators are getting a little bit of buff. Ty's getting some buffs. We'll get into that later. Republic, as I said, we're just going through the main things. Republic only got one thing changed, I'm pretty sure. Well, they removed the talent from him and gave him an extra force. Y-Wing, this is Y-Wing Anakin. Y-Wing Anakin also intended to be good at certain things, delivering torpedoes opponents' faces. However, weapons system officer and synchronized console passing locks to his allies was an unintended side effect of having a 25 loadout. So for one, they're reducing loadout to 20 and removing the mod slot. Literally, thanks guys. I really appreciate it. I gotta say, it's like whenever I came up against that BS, I literally was like, it's like a hitting your head into a wall. Like it's like, okay, cool. I'm gonna double modded shot at you, and then I'm also gonna give this guy a double modded shot at you. And oh, if he doesn't spend his luck, he's gonna give this guy a double modded shot at you. And oh yeah, I've got Tucker as well, who's also going to get a double modded shot on you. Like, oh my gosh, like yes, that's how Republic should seem, and that's how synchronized console should be used, but that was stupid. Even just giving another Initiative 5 another like torpedo, having the option to take 2 proton torpedoes in your list at Initiative 6 and 5, both double modded with this effect. Definitely glad they removed it. I also versed a couple afterburners, Anakin Skywalkers, which were just like, are you kidding? Like, it's a Y-Wing, bro. You don't boost, it's not supposed to be flown like that. But yes, it is a much needed change, and I am very happy with it. Yeah, he's still going to be strong. He's still a 5-point ship with 20 loadout, who is kind of tanky, who can take torpedoes, who can definitely survive 2 turns to shoot both torpedoes. Like, unless you're getting a disabled power regulator, like, he's definitely a good pilot still, even with that slight nerf. Separatists, Separatists was so insane. Like, they have not been, like, they are. In my opinion, these 2 factions, Republic and Separatists, were the 2 best factions in the game. Closely followed. Then, like the way I explained it was, you got 3 tier levels. Top tier, Republic and Separatists. Middle tier is your Rebel, Scum, Empire. These 3 kind of compete with each other in different spaces, and then kind of near towards and then definitely the bottom was FO and Resistance. Um, and generally that's just because of lack of ships and upgrades. So that's nothing that they can really change right now until they start releasing more content. But that takes a lot of playtesting, and I think they just wanted to get the SLs playtested done and out. Then they can start looking at all their smaller customizable stuff. So, definitely glad to see some removals here. So, I'll just read through this one because this is interesting. The TIS faction has continued their strong showings. Just recently, they notched another victory in the large Polish tournament In our continued effort to bring balance to the factions, we are targeting the Geonosian prototypes, the HMPs, which have been auto-included in the CIS this entire duration of these beta points. I am not joking when every single CIS I have seen so far has included 2 HMPs. The only ones I haven't seen was one of them, which is a list I played against, which had one of the HMPs, and the separatist list I'm throwing out, which was 6 droids and Dirge and Grievous. Like those are the 2 lists I haven't seen with a double HMP for 6 points. Because these guys had 8 loadout they could take. If you wanted, you could go sync laser, energy shell charges, so they have really strong guns. They're very tanky for 3 points. One of them can take Kraken instead of the sync laser cannon, so then you're having multiple calculates on the field before the next turn, with also probably having DFS 311 or whatever it's called, the one that can pass DIS, the one that can pass off calculates. You're having multiple calculates staying on the board between turns, multiple strong shots thrown from these 2 Geonosian prototypes. Their native ability with networked aim works extremely well with some of the pilots in the faction that can just auto get locks on things that are already locked. One ship who has a TWAP gets a lock, something else gets a lock. Like, Separatist was very strong, and these 2 were mainly the reason, and I'm very glad they're nerfed, because it sucks. So they have still kept a HMP at 3 points. We can take a tactical relay, and or could take a cannon, but this one only has 6 loadout at 3 points. So basically, you choose: oh, do I want a tactical relay for Kraken, or do I want to shoot? Tactical relay, 3 points. Come on. Yeah. So Geonosian prototypes are 4 with 12 loadout. DGS 286 had a reduction to 3 and loadout to 6, and they lose payload in crew slots, and make you choose between tactical relays and weapons, basically. Let's read this. This will now make you choose between taking munition to increase the offensive value or taking a tactical relay to support your squad. We'd like to also note that DGS's ability is useful in how the CIS plays the game, how CIS plays the game, whereas a prototype's ability turned into being 3 points. One side effect of this we hope to see is more. I'm not too sure how that's it. One side effect of this is we hope to see is more CIS players choosing other options as a Kraken carrier, further diversifying CIS list building. Nice. Um. So what they said here, this update may go down in history as a Falcon update. I'll get to that later. First order, Whispers are getting a little bit of a buff. Their main expensive pieces getting buffs. I'll go through that later. Scum, only correction in Scum was Han. Nice. I gotta say, I actually like this change. So what we are mostly pleased with Scum. They've had some great showings in tournaments, and the list building has been very diverse and fun. I definitely agree as a Scum main. There's so many options we have, so many lists we can try, so many 4-point ships that are amazing, so many good 5-point ships, so many great 6-point ships, and then a couple of 7-point ships which you don't really take because they're 7 points, and some great 3-point ships as well. Lots of stuff across the board. But we feel like Han Solo in the YT 1340, YT 1300 has been a little too efficient at 5 points. To bring him more in line and allow more toys, we increase him to 6 points and a commensurate raise to 20 loadout. I like this. I definitely like this. I myself am not the best Scum Han player. And I know this sounds bad, but I would rather see rather see it raise the points than people have to actually think about a 6-point ship inclusion instead of a 5-point ship inclusion. Um, it does stop some really nasty lists that a lot of people have been bringing. I think most of the lists I've seen from Scum have included Han, like they've said. Um, uh, has been too efficient at 5 points because people have been chucking Mando, Child, Trick Shot, Greedo. So he's getting force mods. If he's not shot, he gets his force back. If he is shot, he probably gets his force back. He normally just takes a lock or a boost if needed. which gives him rerolls for his shots to use as force. He has Greedo to change hits to crits. It was a very strong build. And definitely, I think, a little bit overpowered at 5 points. But taking him at 6 points now I think, is great because you still get some really cool tools. You definitely get to pick more. I've come up with some builds myself. I put them in the X-Wing Alliance chat Discord Scum server. Just some builds that I started messing around with, mainly using alternate force crew to the child now that he has more loadout. And I even looked at using Jabba on one of them. Obviously, there's still one with Mando Child if you really want to do that and just take stuff like bulk transponder codes or ablative plating or engine upgrade or rigged cargo chute, something like that. But there's lots of stuff you can do from now. I do think he was the one thing the one thing in Scum that was undervalued. I think everything else has almost entirely hit the mark. I think the only thing I would be changing in Scum is a little bit of loadout tweaking in these beta points, tweaking some loadouts, adding a little bit more, removing some from others, just seeing how that affects the games. It might make Scum a bit better for a little bit, but I think it'd be interesting to see how, like, for some of those ships that are like, um, that are obviously marked down for their chassis, like, Dallin Oberus in the Star Viper, maybe giving him 5 loadout instead of 3, and let him take something like pattern analyzer, give him 6 loadout so he can take prime thrusters, use his ability. Maybe let him take something like burnout thrusters. Like, I think changing some of those ships that are kind of punished with their very minimal loadout and giving that at least 1 to 3 more points to play with, and just seeing how that affects the meta would be good. I think they should be doing that across all factions that have ships like that. I think specifically with the Resistance X-Wing, I think they need a little bit of love for the 4-point X-Wings are kind of like minimal loadout, even though they don't have the best abilities. But yeah, that's their basic overview. Let's just go through now and do this super quickly because I'm at an hour 12 and it's after midnight for me. um, so going through Rebel, as you can see, Ezra Brizzer lost talent, gained force, so 2 force slots. I don't like it. I don't think that changes the best. I think that should be done on certain chassis, but I get why. Han Solo, 9 points with 25 loadout value, same amount of slots. Lando Calrissian received 3 extra loadout to try and make him a little bit better. I got to say, Lando at 12 loadout's not the best. What even is his ability in Rebels? I don't. His ability is the blue maneuver, give someone an action. Yeah, I like that. I think a 7-point Lando is a good option for a Falcon. You still have the battle over Endor 7, like at 7 points as well. You can do similar things as General of Alliance Rebel, General of Alliance Lando. A-Wing, Ahsoka lost talent. Cool. Um, then X-Wings, Luke lost the talent. 5 points. I think people were checking Predator on him. Predator R4. Not too sure. I didn't really explore it. Galactic Empire. All the TIE Advance lost it. Yeah, they gained mod slots actually. Oh, that's cool. They've got mod slots now. Finally. I think they kind of need that. Afterburners, yes. Grand Inquisitor Afterburners, please. Maybe. Vader, Custom Vader also losing his talent. I do like that. Now that I'm thinking about the Debris Gambit stuff, yes, the main benefactor for that I think was Vader in Empire. Evade focus lock and still have 1 force left, and normally he would have hate on him, so gains the force back easily enough from taking damage. Like, I'm glad that's a change. I really hated coming up against those Debris Gambit Vaders because you basically had to say, okay, I need to block you without you being coordinated your stuff before you move. Next is Interceptor second sister lost a talent spot. I don't agree with that either because, like, what force upgrades are you taking on second sister? Like, I guess you just take shield upgrade and then 5 points worth of brilliant evasion and a 3-point force upgrade. Like, what the heck? Like, this is what I mean by some pilots should have it, some shouldn't. Like, I don't think Seventh Sister with 2 Force Debris Gambit, maybe Brilliant Evasion, is that much of a problem. I think across the board, nerf on that isn't the best, but we'll see how it shakes up what's been happening. TIE Fighter upgrades, Iden Versio, 16 loadout value at 4 points, might start taking a Moff Gideon. He was notoriously strong with Vader Defender. 15 loadout value now and an extra mod slot. Okay, buddy. Might have to start looking at those squads. Scythe 6, obviously up to 4 points. Power Runner, Power Runner gives defensive rerolls? Is that right? I've never really played Power Runner before. Fighter. Front row. Attack that reroll, attack that offensive rerolls. Yep. So how many is 18 loadout value now? Cool. Well, you can take a shield upgrade and elusive and another 4-point upgrade. Enduring. That's not a bad ship for 4 points. And also some of these changes here are kind of bringing up the power levels similar to FO TIE fighters, where at 4 points, some of them have like 18 loadout like this, where they can take another shield and be 2 shield, 3 hull. At least these guys can start taking shield upgrades and still have loadout to play with. And then I think this is one of my favorites. ISP Jinguous. These guys, when they came out, were 2 points. They're 4 points now. Actually, were they 2 or 3? I don't know. They were some absurd point value where they had like illicit spots, and you could take Dead Man Switch, Jinguous, and just like give out strains before doing all your stuff. It was really cool. But 18 loadout value with a mod slot now. Shield upgrade, Dead Man Switch, 5 points. Shield upgrade, False Stress Wonder Codes, Predator. Fun. I like it. I don't think anything else was changed. Decimator, yes. So, the only Decimator they gave some love was Rack, Rear Admiral Chirunu, who also went up a point, but gained 24 loadout. I think they were saying, I didn't read it through, but I probably should have. Decimators haven't seen much play for Empire, similar to Falcons and Rebels. They're taking a different approach with some of the larger bases, which will play out across multiple factions. They're going to give you an option for a more expensive Decimator, but with a ton of loadout, so you can really pack out the ship, which is Rack. And what they specifically said was loadout that to 24. Why 24? Simply, really, Sloan, Admiral Sloan, or whatever her name is 25 points, and she's super busted, so can't take that. Death Troopers Invader is 25 points, so can't take that. And with 24 loadout, you can choose Vader, you can choose Death Troopers, probably Death Troopers. You can choose a bunch of upgrades. You can go with bombs, you can go with a turret. What else do they have? Where's the point upgrades? It's got 3 clue slots, so you could go Death Troopers, another crew. You could go veteran turret gunner. You could go advanced proton torpedoes. You could go proton torpedoes. You could go proximity mines. He has now a ton of loadout to play with, which is great. That's the end of Empire. Scum, as we said, Han Solo, 6 points of 20 loadout, retained everything the same. Maul lost the talent, gets a force, no more fearless on Maul. Same thing for Asajj Ventress, lost the talent, gained a force, no more fearless on Asajj. I was never taking Asajj or Maul because they were both 7 points. That's it for Scum. How much you 0? Oh, you're still 0. That's right, because you need the upgrade, which costs some points now. Resistance. I didn't go through the Falcons, but as I said, this is the Falcon update. So previously 6-point Han is now 7 points. So Old Man Han, who gets to basically pick anywhere in the field outside range 3 when he starts the game, has access to the title, gets an extra 15 loadout. So he's at 24 loadout competing with Lando. And is Initiative 6. So now you have a second Initiative 6 Falcon. Poe lost 3 points, and Poe was good, but everyone was taking Rey for what she was worth. But yeah, so Poe lost 3 points. So you have 2 Initiative 6 Falcons you can take for 7 points. I can definitely see someone taking Han, Poe, Chewie easily. But I mean, you could also take customizable Poe X-wing. Um, but yeah, there's some cool stuff. And then of course Rey got buffed up to 8 points, so a little bit worse, but she got 7 more loadout value. Lost her talent, so no more heroic. So straight away, Rey lost heroic, which screws up her Rose Finn combo stuff. Basically, like there's no more roll a blank, roll a blank defense, add a blank heroic reroll into modding. No more of that, which kind of sucks. Like as I said, like this whole like remove every single pilot talent on force users and only give them force. Pick and choose, guys. I think it's kind of lazy. I think it is a little bit lazy just saying screw everything. But for something like Rey, where a very important piece to her kit, the kit that makes her a good ship, gets removed, like I don't think anyone's taking Rey at 8 points with 28 loadout. Like honestly, like like yes, she is still good, but you lose a lot of survivability in that heroic because of the Finn the Finn combo with heroic and defense dice. You lose so much survivability just for not having heroic. It kind of sucks, and I hate it. I gotta say, I think Ray probably should have stayed at 7 points. If she's losing her talent slot, I think she should have stayed at 7 points with probably 25 loadout. Give her an extra two, or an extra one or whatever it is. But I think that's four actually. She got four extra. Um, but I think at 8 points with 28 and losing that talent, she needs that talent. I think I gotta be honest, they need to add it back. I don't think Ray is going to see too much play, and if she does, I think it's going to soon be found out that she's not the best. Still no change in the A wings. A lot of people are waiting on Merle to get an extra loadout so he can take intimidation. Please give us a 3 point A wing that can take intimidation in resistance. I think that is something that they could very much benefit from, but they're not giving it to us. Um, as I said earlier, these loadouts for the 4 point X wings are atrocious. Like, I'm sorry if I get they have an extra shield, but like if Rebels has access to similar stuff like Initiative 5, so sorry, Rebels has access to Initiative 5 X-wings that have good abilities at 4 points. Like all of their 4 point options, like Thane at Initiative 5 and 4 points is 6 loadout. Like that's similar to the loadout we're getting on Initiative 4, like Initiative 4 X-Wings that don't have the best ability. Like, they have good abilities, but they're not like Thane where you're exposing damage cards. Like it's or Corrin where you're giving out free where you're giving friendlies locks on the ships that like when you're shooting a ship that you've locked, but like you have coordinates, so it doesn't matter. Like I think Republic, sorry, Resistance X Wings need a little bit of love. Um, yeah, that's about it. I like these guys. I've actually been really enjoying. I played Rose the other day. She's actually really cool. Her ability is great. I want to play her online and see how it goes, especially with Poe. X-wing Poe. But yeah, Y-wings the same. I like the Y-wings. FO. We can get into Raf, Kylo, and the other one. So again, Kylo silencer took a hit. He lost his talent. That is a hit on him. Like, I don't like it. I don't like it. Um, I think Kylo already has an evade, doesn't he? Oh no, he doesn't. Yeah, so you could have given him an evade, but it's like I don't know. Like I get why this. I understand why they're saying it's a problem, but I don't like it on everything. Like I don't. Yeah, it's weird. They should be picking and choosing. But here, Kylo Whisper, 6 points, 20 loadout, no talent, and no predator. That sucks. Okay. Um, I do like this. I want to mess around with this because just to show you. Whisper Kylo. Um, Straight away, I'm taking a shield upgrade on Kylo or a whole upgrade. Honestly, like either of them are good. Your 6 hit points now. You are the exact same hit points as a silencer, and you still have 10 loadout to deal with. Then I'm probably taking Malice. Um, you do lose some stuff here though. Now you've only got 6 points to work with. You get your configuration. You can't take concussion missiles. I guess you could take clusters if you wanted. You could take brilliant evasion. I would probably just be relying if I'm taking short upgrade, I'm relying on his bullseye. And then you have a tech slot, so you have 4 points left. Oh, it's not a lot. Ion missiles, I guess, give you a shot and maybe munitions failsafe. There you go. That's a decent Kylo build. You've got Malice, you've got your pilot ability. You have Malice to help you get crits through, help you with force regeneration. You have brilliant evasion to help you evade shots because you're probably not being in bullseye. You've got enhanced jamming suite for jams. You've got ion missiles, so you can actually have a forward arc shot if you need it, a decent one if you take a lock. And you have shield upgrade, giving you a 6/6 chassis. I like it. Like if you're a whole upgrade, I guess you could chuck homing missiles in. It's not bad. Homing missiles isn't bad, but no, I like ion missiles just for the. I like ion missiles just for the what's it called? Oh, you could chuck afterburn. Holy shoot, you could chuck afterburners on them. That could be cool. Afterburners cluster. Afterburners cluster malice brilliant evasion. I like that. That's a cool loadout. Like they just gave them more options to play with. Nightfall got a little bit of love. At 4 points, you now have 8 loadout instead of 3. Wow. Nightfall's the one if you move through something. What do you do? Nightfall. If you fully execute move form a boost, if you move through anything, it gains 2 jams, which is really cool. I understand why they would give it minimum loadout because of that. But he also gets the jamming suite. So that's probably why he gets the jamming suite. It's got a cool ability. Yeah. Whirlwind is still at 5 points. This is the one that gets extra focus tokens. They gave it an additional 2 loadout to play with. Still no mod slot on him, which is interesting. I think it's very interesting. I guess they're not allowing anyone but Kylo to have a shield upgrade. I don't know why they wouldn't. I feel like with this amount of loadout, you should be having shield upgrades. Like double tech slot, I don't think's that good compared to it. Like I guess you take pattern and allows a proud tradition, a missile, and you take something that can bump it up to initiative 6 or 7. I don't know. Wrath got an extra 5 loadout. Wrath actually has a good ability, letting you double tap with cannons. So I like that change, which is cool. As you said, Galactic Republic, we can see all of these talent slots getting removed. This also means your Plo Koon, who everyone has been using for Initiative 5, no longer gets Predator. I don't know what you're chucking on for Force stuff, or maybe you just chuck Astromechs on. All your Delta 7s, your 7Bs, all removed. Your Naboo Anakin, like, sorry, like, again, this is what I'm saying. Like, across the board, getting rid of it is not good. Anakin Skywalker in the N1, who I'm pretty sure only has 1 force at initiative 1 or something like that. Anakin Skywalker, initiative 4, 1 force. Why? Like, come on, are you joking? Like, why give him a force slot for the 1 force he has, where if he wants to use it for his ability, he has no force left? Like, why? Like, it's so stupid. It's just so stupid. It is absolutely stupid. It is oh gosh. Man, I just don't have words. Like think it through. Like, I think that's the only thing I can say. Like, no, I'm being a little harsh. Like, I understand that. Just get rid of it so no one complains. So like, no one's necessarily complaining about picking on a single faction. But it's just like hard to look at and be like trying to justify it, like trying to justify why Anakin Skywalker in the like the kid who jumped into a starfighter without really knowing how to fly it after only pod racing doesn't deserve a pilot talent because he is talented. Like, as a kid who can do that, like, yes, he is force sensitive, but come on, like, why? Like, he probably deserves a talent slot. Like, give you something to play with if you ever want to take Anakin Skywalker in the Naboo fighter, the N1. It just does, yeah. I don't know. It's just bonkers to me. It's just so bonkers. Um, we have Anakin Skywalker moves sync console. And that's the end of oh no, we got Separatists. It was only a couple changes. So GGS 286, and if you want to know what his ability is, grab it up. I think it's the Bullseye Strain one. Before you engage, you may choose another friendly ship at range 0 to 1. That ship transfers one calculate token to you. Okay. Is that right? 286? Yeah. Okay. 6 loadout value. You can take any of these you want. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't mind that. I mean, the other one, 080, 047 was what I was thinking of. He gets the get locks and handout strains, but that's cool. I don't mind that. 6 loadout, minimal stuff. Cool. Generation prototypes, extra 4 loadout, and 1 more point on them. Cool. And that's it. Um, but yeah, so I haven't really gone through the points updates. I think since the brand new factions came out, but um, yeah, I don't. I like the points update. I think some of those ships. I understand they're still in beta. Like, I know I've been kind of complaining the whole way through, but we're still in beta points. They are still learning. They are still playtesting. They're using us to playtest. That's where most of their data for Han came for, like Scum Han came from. Specifically, is that so many people were just auto taking them in lists. I don't think I think I only saw a couple, like 2 stream games where Scumless didn't take Han Solo. Um, so I 100% understand that they are still learning, not learning, still making decisions, still testing stuff out, using us to test it as well. But that pilot talent change is a little bit iffy for me. I think that should have been picked and choose, potentially given a ship that probably needs. For instance, they specifically called out. Let's just go to what they called out. They specifically called out trick shot, shattering shot. Not many people were using that. I think that may be a problem, yes, if a lot of people started spamming that, but I don't think it's that much of a problem. Um, if a ship can take that, you probably should be removing that from them anyway. Um, it's hard to say. Like, it's hard to say. Um, like, yes, that could, yes. Sorry, let's get my words straight. Yes, that could potentially be a problem. If people started spamming it, but I haven't seen that. Debris Gambit with force support on high initiative 3 agility aces. Yes, I agree that that is a little bit annoying. However, specifically, I think we need to outline the 3 agility aces part. And I think that's the main thing we need to look at, because sorry, I'm just looking something up for myself, but 3 agility aces, I don't think, like, yes, pick and choose who you want. Grand Inquisitor, maybe. Uh, Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker. Sorry, flipped you off. Anakin Skywalker in the 7B. Obi-Wan Kenobi maybe in the 7B. Maybe Plo Koon in the 7B. There is certain high initiative aces that could abuse that. There is very few lower initiative ships that have access to that three force to make that worth it for starters, and also already had a talent slot. A lot of those Jedi didn't originally have a talent. A lot of them did. So probably about half of them did, half of them didn't. I think you're kind of punishing everyone for the crimes of a few. And I think specifically Resistance Ray, who was a massive piece in Resistance, took a massive hit from losing a talent slot with Heroic. Yes, she got 7 more loadout, but is that really going to balance out that much? Like, I guess you can take a hull upgrade now instead of Heroic. You can grab a hull upgrade, but like as like I'm saying, it's that's a massive hit to her. The way she's been playing and the way she has been good for a long time, the survivability of her. It's a hit to some pieces that you might never have looked at, like Seventh Sister in the TIE Interceptor, who at one point was an okay ship. Um, but I don't think she was using talent slots. I think she was using something like shield upgrade, extreme maneuvers, something like that. But like something like Seventh Sister, who might really want to have something like elusive or a talent that could be useful. Um, what other ships did I look at before? Like all your scum ships, like Maul and Asajj, like those two ships who could very much benefit from having Fearless or some type of like um talent slot that could actually help them. Like specifically Fearless. I'm a big Fearless like favorite. I love it. Um, but yeah, I think you're punishing everyone for the crimes of a few. You need to pick and choose. Like Ezra Bridger in the Gauntlet, did he really deserve to lose his talent slot because you know he's a Gauntlet? It's just for me, it's a little bit weird to wrap my head around, and I kind of understand where they're coming from, but as a player perspective, I think yeah, I don't know. I don't like it on everyone. I think they should have picked and choose pieces. Um, but of course, this is still beta points. They can reverse it in the next points update. Hopefully everything kind of does take a hit and um they do pick and choose for the next one. Maybe limit it to ships with 3 force that can take a talent and um they can take a talent slot. Don't get the talent slot and everyone else can have it if you have 2 force or fewer. Technically, Kyo didn't still has his talent slot, but Kyo is non-regenerative force. But yeah, yeah. So anyway, that's my thoughts on the patch notes. Just talking through it, looking at what they mean with their little thing, with their little blurbs here and their patch notes. Yeah, like I'd like to say thanks. Like if any of the guys who do any of the guys in the XWA do end up watching this, which I doubt they will. Thanks, guys. I do appreciate what you guys are doing. You have 100% revitalized my love for this game. I've been playing X-Wing my whole life, ever since grade 8 for me, which is holy crap, that was 2018. So I've been playing. This will be my. I was playing before that. That was the first major tournament I went to. I was playing when I entered high school, 2017. I think I had my first game in 2016. I've been playing tournaments since 2017, local tournaments since 2017. So I've been playing for 7, 8 years. Like I love this game, and I was feeling a little bit burnt out at the end of AMG. So thanks. I do appreciate what XWA are doing. I do appreciate the the changes they're making and learning from the past, um, and making these changes because they are hard decisions. Like they're not nothing's easy here. Like making Han 9 points and giving him the loadout that was originally completely busted. Um, maybe they see it and change it later on because it's might not be the best. But yeah, like I'm very appreciative of these points and I'm loving making content. And yeah, there's always criticism to be had. and I will voice my criticism because I can, and that's what I think from my experience playing the game. But anyway, this is a long video. I don't know if you guys watched, but thank you if you did. Sorry for me ranting a bit. I feel like I was a little bit harsh at one point, but like, come on, I'm a little bit tired. I am a little bit annoyed at some of these changes as a firm believer in as a scum player in the end of AMG where scum had no help at all. um yeah, I want the worst factions to succeed, and I think resistance took a little bit of a hit, but we'll see. We'll see how it shows out. We'll see what lists come about. We'll see what everyone starts playing, and then definitely come back, and I will talk about this later after I've found some lists, and then discuss these changes again, probably, I think. But yeah, anyway, thanks for watching. If you did, catch you next time. I'll try and do some more videos soon.